so fine if you were mine. I think it's time I got up on you. I said, Santa mine, we're gonna win.
Hola, amigos. My name's Billy. I'm a bass player. And I'm right here today to do some talking with a friend of mine and hopefully answer some questions and ponder some philosophy.
Hell yeah, mate. That sounds like a perfect start to the day to me. How you doing? Oh,
Great, man. Thanks.
no worries at all. So we're here today to talk about your new album, appropriately titled 10, which is released on July the 12th, mate. So how you feeling about it?
Pretty good, I guess. Yeah, it's our 10th record, a studio record. There have been a lot of other records. The first time we played in Japan, we had a wonderful time, and then they knew we wouldn't be coming back until the next record, which was going to be as a cycle that happens. So they wanted a live record, and we didn't really have the facility. We were on tour, actually with Rush in America, and so the sound man took a DAT tape, digital audio tape. They don't have them anymore. A little tape. It cost $7.95 for this tape, and put it in and hit record on our show with no multi-track, no fixes, no overdubs, no nothing. And so our recording budget for the whole show was $7.95.
You did well.
that tape became the first Raw Like Sushi. I think in Korea it sold like 350,000 units. I don't know how many in Japan, but I hope we recouped our investment.
I think you did all right.
But it's kind of cool that it was completely real and no fixes, no turning the audience up or any of those cheaters that you can do. So we've done a lot of records, and there's a million bootlegs too. There was a great bootleg store in Japan. I think they're long gone now, selling CDs, and they had the most amazing set of bootlegs you could imagine. I got the Band of Gypsies, Jimi Hendrix demos or rehearsals. Wow. I got the Genesis Lamb Lies Down on Broadway demos. Just the most amazing thing. The Montrose first record, all the demos, Boston demos that led up to these iconic records. And so we'd go there after our show, and they'd already have our record with artwork for sale. And but they were really cool. So you guys take whatever you want, and in return for us bootlegging, in return for us stealing from you. But we didn't look at it. They were really cool. It was kind of the culture there that they just love music so much. So it's a little tiny place on the back street somewhere. So nobody's getting rich off us. So we were glad to have all that stuff documented because we didn't have recordings of a lot of the shows, but I have them now on DVD or CD from that shop. Pretty great. But they literally would have it out the next day.
That's amazing.
With artwork. As well, and our record label usually takes months and months and months and months and months to get that together. And actually, the cover is usually the thing that holds up more records than anything else. Getting the cover right and getting all the artwork and credits right. So they did it in less than 24 hours. So I'm very proud.
So efficient, aren't they? So tell us a bit more about 10 from a musical point of view, bro, and what you were going for with it.
Well, we took a break on a tour and were able to go in and record. I was super busy and couldn't make it for the writing sessions. So I came in and just played bass.
Right.
And that was kind of cool. What do you got? Okay, maybe this will work. And I would put a little bass line down, and I do that a lot here in my home studio, record for a lot of clients around the world, and they'll send me, some of them are pro or semi-pro, so I get, what they send me is pretty good. but some are brand new, or they've never made a record before, and they're not sure what to do, and so we get all these disparate parts that haven't congealed into a song yet, and so we have to, with this, kind of make it work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a challenge. So we discovered over the couple of years we've been doing this, me and my engineer Scott, that bass can really, not necessarily me or my bass, but bass itself really can make or break a recording. It's amazing how much that low frequency note translates the rest of everything else in a song. And we would get a song and we'd look at each other like, oh man, what are we gonna do? Let me try this. And he'd hit record and go, okay, by the end of the day, we're going, wait, this thing is working. So fortunately with Mr. Big, we did not have nearly that bad readiness. The songs were very together, but it was nice to be able to just come in and create a bass line that just came from nowhere. And just from my first impression of how the song went, so I didn't have a lot of time to even rehearse the songs. So in a way, that was kind of good too, because it was spontaneous and came right. I didn't think it through. Thinking will ruin a song pretty easily.
Overthinking will, yeah.
Too much thinking about it, just go for what you go. And so that happens with writing a lot. You just come up with a part, kind of, hey, I like the part, cool, all right. The next day, maybe we should, hold on a second, wait, we had it, and now you're changing your mind. So that was a cool way to approach it. I just went in and played bass, and we came up with some cool stuff.
So you've released the singles, Good Luck Trying and Up On You so far. So would they be a good sonic representation overall, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they were very well received. I had just zillions of comments on my social media. Everyone seemed very pleased with it. So if they're pleased, we're happy.
It's very true.
I don't, it's not my goal necessarily to make the audience happy or to pander to them. I want to do something that they like, but I don't change what I do so that they like it. Yeah. And I think Mr. Big has kind of always been like that. We didn't necessarily pander. To Be With You was a huge hit, but we put it last on the record. We didn't really think much of it, we just, other than the fact that we loved it, but we didn't, if we would have known it was a hit, we would have put it out first.
It's true.
And then followed it up with that. So yeah, that's another factor there, I guess.
Yeah. I read an interesting quote from Eric that said, that you didn't copy anything from your previous studio albums, and it's all new stuff from scratch. Like at this stage of your career, when you've done so much music, is it easy to do everything fresh? Like is it easier or harder to come up with newer stuff?
It can be. I know there was a time there when we did. There were 3 songs that were in my mind were always the same: "Merciless," "Voodoo Kiss," and one other one that all had the same beat. And I'm not sure if it was me that for the 4th record finally said, we've done that song enough times. I mean, it didn't sound exactly the same, but they're just too similar to me. So I like to have some variation on things, but I like the band to do what the band does best, and that's sing and play. So the singing is and the harmonies are what have been a huge boost to the availability to an audience, because everybody loves to sing on American Idol or those TV talent shows. 9 out of 10 or 99 out of 100 are singers. I haven't seen a bass player on there yet, or a drummer. So it's about singing. It's about singing. So that's always been a super important harmony. There's not a lot of harmony on 10 though, so unfortunately, but for me, the earlier records, the harmony and the great choruses, it was a thing for me. So, we it changed from that. So we will see how that fares in the end.
Well, I can tell you honestly, bro, like I listened to the whole album just this morning as I was writing the questions up, and it's very rare these days with an album that it's great all the way through. Like I got to about track number 5 and I've gone, like, that's my favorite song on the album. Then I got to number 7, I'm like, no, that's my favorite. I got to number 9, it's like, no, that is. But usually towards the tail end of an album, you start sort of, it starts getting too much, or the worst music or the weaker tracks, I guess, start coming out. But Ten's just a banger from start to finish. He's come up with the best of collection of new songs, basically.
Oh, I'm glad you feel that way. And I just realized you got a tough job because I don't know if I could sit through a lot of records all the way and have to listen
It
to
can get tough.
I mean, back in the day, we would do that because we buy an album. It was vinyl. I'm an old man. I know that's how it used to be, and I understand that things change. So now people like sometimes here's just a snippet of a song on a little video meme on the internet. So they judge from that, and that it's valid. Things will never remain the same forever, and things are going to change. And but I imagine sometimes it would be difficult for me to sit down and listen to a whole record. But back in the day, it wasn't, but I'm just not used to that anymore. So congratulations on an amazing job of getting through.
Well, thank you for making it easy by having good songs all the way through, brother.
Oh, it's very kind of you. Right on. Thank you.
I've sort of touched on this a little bit before, mate, but the Rhythmists are big and your numerous side projects and stuff. Like you've written so much music over the years. Like, how easy is it for you to create something fresh every time you do a new song?
Well, I'm always at it. I was down here. I got done with what I had to do today by about 6 or 7 o'clock, and I had 2 hours before we started this. So I've been down here working the whole time, and I have my iPhone on selfie video. I pointed at myself, and I play the part of the song that I just came up with. So that makes it handy. I used to carry around a little digital recorder, or before that, a cassette recorder. And every time I had an idea, I'd hit record. So the iPhone makes it pretty easy to do. But if you work at it, you can come up with a lot of new stuff. And once you get stuck or painted into a corner, or you've got writer's block, I guess there is such a thing, you just got to work at it. You just have to sit down and pound and hit it. And if it's not working, I go off and I listen to something completely different, something way out of range that has nothing to do with what I do or how I play or anything like that. And then when I come back, I've got a kind of a new look at things to some degree. So there's all kinds of ways to ignite that creative spark. Some people, I believe, are just kind of averse to the work part of it, because if you work it, I'll sit down. I got nothing. That doesn't work. No, I still got nothing. Well, we got all day. Let's go. Hit it harder. Come on, let's go. And I've seen a lot of professional writers work, and similarly, I know when I lived in LA, I knew a lot of people that were in the movie business. You got a script and you got to come up with something. They get a bunch of guys in a room and they don't leave until they get it right. And they hit it. It's hard work. I mean, there's blood, sweat, and tears. Similarly with songwriters, I've had the good fortune of working with some great songwriters, and it's a job. It's work. You hit it hard. You don't just sit around and wait for inspiration. I think that's the biggest mistake people have. I'll sit around till something comes my way. Now I'm going to keep digging until I find something, myself. So I don't think it's that difficult to do if you approach it in the right manner.
Yeah. So you'd say you've been down there for the last 2 hours, like coming up with new stuff, mate. Play us something cool that you've just come up with.
Yeah, it was. That'd be like the motif, and it's kind of cool because it's like on single notes. Pretty simple, been used a million times, but do it with a double and then use this hand. Now I don't remember the exact pattern I did, but that's the idea. So that'll be the motif, and then that's in the key of E. So then I go back, then the verse would probably be in E, or I could do it in G major, go to the from E minor to its relative major, if you will, to the G, and do the verse there, then back down. And there's song arranging is quite an interesting field for what comes when and where and how. And generally, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Goodbye. Now there's variations, a million variations of that. You do a pre-chorus. Sometimes a lot of bands do a pre-chorus before the song even starts, which was an old Beatles trick. And the chorus is usually the title of the song. So when they sang Paperback Writer, you knew what song it was before it even started. And that's how you have a hit record. Or Bon Jovi, Shot to the Heart and You're to Blame, You Give Love a Bad Name. Okay, now we know the name of the song before it even started, and we already can sing along with the chorus the first time it comes. So there's ways of making songs accessible and more hitly, if you will. And then sometimes you avoid that stuff completely because you don't want to seem like you're following the pack, or you're, again, pandering, like I mentioned earlier, pandering to the audience. Some stuff is designed to be a hit. I mean, people are writing songs to have hits. That's what songwriters do. There's all kinds of ways of doing that. There's all kinds of mechanisms they use to bring that about. The chorus right up front and the title of the song being the chorus. And that's why I think Led Zeppelin, all their song titles, they don't sing they don't sing Black Dog in the whole song.
Good point, yeah.
They don't. And they purposely did that because they didn't want to have radio hits. They wanted to be like a jamming, music band. They didn't want to get in a pop music world. And so their secret weapon is, let's do a title that has nothing to do with how the song, I mean, Stairway to Heaven does, of course, and some of them, of course, do.
There is rules, exceptions to the rule.
But nevertheless, they had a lot of songs that I still to this day am not sure what the name of that song is. But I love it, and I've played it in bands.
I'm sure you've been told this before, mate, but you're an absolutely amazing human being. The way you look at things is awesome.
Say it again, I'm sorry?
I said you're an amazing human being. The way you look at things is fucking awesome.
Well, you're way too kind and way too generous to say that. I'm just a blue-collar working bass player my arms are extra long from carrying those heavy amps up and down the stairs at high school gyms to play the dances. And, I've always considered myself a working man, pretty much.
That's awesome, Brian. So this is another thing that I found interesting too. Like the album was recorded both live in the studio and on the tour bus. So like, firstly, a lot of people out there don't actually understand what live in the studio is. So can you run us through what that means when the band says it was recorded live in the studio?
Yeah, when you're actually playing, where you say, when you count the song 1, 2, 3, 4, go and play through the whole song without any stops, that's playing live in the studio.
Right.
Now, how songs are usually done is they'll play along with the drummer, and he'll make a mistake. And now they have the technology where in the old days with reel-to-reel tape, the drummer had the toughest job because he had to play a whole take himself and make sure it was all correct.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you could do a little splice or edit, but generally he had to shoulder the most difficult job. He had to get through the whole song. Now you can play the bass to the drums, then put the guitars on, then put the rhythm guitars, then do the lead solos, then bring in the lead vocal and do the harmonies. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to play it all at the same time. So the studio allows you to piece it together. Now a digital studio allows anything. If you can imagine it, you can probably do it. Yeah. You don't even auto-tune now. You could sing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, and you can make it happy birthday to you. You can put the melody in later. And when somebody's royally flat, you could just edge it up and make it correct. And I've seen pitch correction fix the impossible.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
somebody that's just blown it completely, and they make it work. It's pretty amazing. So all the records prior to pitch correction, you had to sing it. There's even ways of getting by with that, with a kind of a cheater way that isn't live. They would have you sing almost a syllable at a time, a single syllable in the words at a time until you hit the right note. They had a way of crossfading to make sure that you could just, so you hear a guy, sing a line. I can't think of any offhand, but each syllable he can keep going until he gets that syllable right and in pitch, and then go on to the next syllable. It's arduous, incredibly tedious work to do, but that's how they did it, especially guys that had a hard time singing. Earlier bands, I told you before about the bootlegs I've got. I've got the Beach Boys singing "Wouldn't It Be Nice" like a religious experience to bring tears to your eyes, and it's them starting the song in the studio. And they start do da da do da 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 da, and then they don't sing, and they only make it in a measure in, and then you have the Brian
Wilson,
the Beach Boys guy. Yeah, you hear him on the talking to Hal, which is Hal Blaine, the drummer who played on all those. Hal, no, on the first beat you got to do
wow.
and then make it through 4 measures. He stops again. No. Okay, now bring that, and then finally they do take about number 8, and it's starting to turn into magic. It'll raise the hairs on your arm and bring tears to your eyes, and then the vocals come in. It is mind blowing. So there's ways you can get around having to go in the studio and perform nowadays more than ever. So when we do something live, we're doing it for real. We're actually playing it as opposed to piecing it together. There's some of that to some degree, but for us at Mr. Big, for most all of our records, we're pretty live. I remember the first track we did was "Addicted to That Rush," and we took a first take on that.
All right.
And first takes are always the best because you get done, you go, well, I think we could play this a little better. And take 24, you're going, let's go back to number 1. We were wasting time. I've seen that happen just so many times where people think I did a song with a band I have called Niacin, Hammond B3 and Dennis Chambers on drums. And we had Glenn Hughes come in and sing a song. Mind blowing. He came in and bang, he was done in 10 minutes, and it was unbelievable. And then Steve Lukather came in to play guitar, a guitar solo on it. So he came in late. He just flew in, came from the airport. They brought his gear in. Hey, Steve, come on, here we go. We set him up. Here's how the song goes, and here's the solo section. Okay, cool. So he hit this solo. Man, it was right on. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try another one. You do a little bit more. And we went on for about 2 hours. If I said, Steve, sorry, we're using the first one. We couldn't top it. It was just, and that spontaneous thing that happens. Again, what I talked earlier about, I just got the songs and I played bass right away. That spontaneous thing is often a really helpful way to get a creative take. Just bang, here's the song, here's how it goes, go. And you get some really cool stuff that way. Sometimes it doesn't work, but when it does, it's kind of magical and interesting, the fact that it just happened just off the top of your head. Okay, how about this? All right, shrink wrap it and send it to the record store.
So you're currently in the midst of the Big Finish tour, mate. So does that mean that this is going to be Mr. Big's final album as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll record anymore. We had a great run, and our whole philosophy of this farewell tour was, I'd rather run across the finish line than be wheeled across or limped across the finish line. And no offense to any band, because every band should be working as long as they want under any conditions they care to. But I do see a lot of bands out there that it's not up to speed of what I know they did or could have done. And I'm still their fan, and I still love them, and I'll still go to the show, and so will thousands of other people. but for me, we wanted to end on a high point, end on a high note, get across the finish line, as I said, running instead of crawling, and also I think there has to be some integrity to it too. I know some bands do a farewell tour every 2 years, but this is really a farewell. So we'll end off, I think, in Romania on this leg of the tour that we're heading for. I'll leave here on the 10th in 3 days. No, in 4 days, 5 days. What if I'm not on tour? I don't know what day it is. So
so true.
And we'll start. We're going to play. I'm excited because we're going to play in England again. We're going to play at Leeds, where the Who.
Yeah, wow.
The My Generation medley. We played that in Tallis for years and years. The whole first 3 songs the whole first part of that record that starts with My Generation, and quite awesome. We're also going to play Liverpool, the holy ground.
Grail, yeah.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. There's a record store there I want to go visit, and then we're playing. I'm Irish, so we're playing in Belfast and Dublin, and so that'll be cool. And doing a bunch of festivals in Germany and Eastern Europe as well, and so an Italian show, bunch of things. So we're excited. And every place we've played, people are excited because this is it. It's kind of a bittersweet, but we've had an amazing run. So people are coming out that have saw the band back in the 90s and haven't seen us since. They're all coming out. So we've been sold out everywhere. And it's been quite an emotional, quite touching to have people come out and see their last time for seeing us. It's pretty cool.
Okay, and then are you going to come and say goodbye to us here in Australia?
Say again?
Are you going to come and say goodbye to us here in Australia?
I wish we could, but Australia never booked us. We only play where we're booked, and bands don't choose where they play. People get the impression that bands sit around in the band house and go, "Hey, I got an idea. What? Let's go play New York City. Oh, all right, I'll get my bass. Come on." And it doesn't work like that. That stuff is booked months and months and months, even a year or more in advance. Festivals are usually a year and a half or 2 years before they're finalized, really. And it's expensive to play in Australia, and it's difficult because it's a long flight and an expensive flight. But we've played there. We played there with Extreme a few years ago.
I was at that show, and you were fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, what a joy to play with them. They're a great band as well. And what a joy to play down there. I played across Australia once or twice. I think once with Steve Vai, once with G3. I've done clinics in most every city and done the Mr. Big show that we just talked about. And I love it, but unfortunately it didn't come together. We kept pushing from our end, but if the promoters doesn't want it, they don't want it. So nothing we can do about it. Because we're selling a product. Yeah. We can't choose who buys it. And it sounds awful commercialized to explain it that way, but it's really the truth. We got a show with our songs and an evening of entertainment, and that's for sale. And if you want it, you can buy it. If you don't want it, then you don't buy it. It's sad to see. We'll get some hostility sometimes from people online.
Yeah.
Why don't you play it? How come you hate our town? Why do you hate our country? Why wouldn't I play anywhere? I've even said years ago, I'll play anywhere in the world other than where there's a shooting war. However, we played in India, and there was a shooting war going on in this one region. And they called a truce so we could have the show.
Get fucked. That's awesome.
Story. So I'll play anywhere, even in a shooting war, if they can call a truce long enough for us to go there. Because we had military guys with us the whole time with machine guns, security everywhere, because it was a hostile environment. But we didn't end up playing where there was a shooting war. So I will play. I love to play. I want to play everywhere. I love Australia. Never been to New Zealand either at all. I'd love to go there. And we play Japan a lot because Japan brings us in. They hire us. They get in touch with the agency and management, and we want Mr. Big to play here. And we're okay. So that's their doing. South America has been great for us. They always buy shows and bring us down there. So Yeah, it's sad that we couldn't do an Australian run, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But we had a lot of folks fly in from Australia, to especially our Southeast Asian shows. We played in Thailand, and Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Indonesia. I have a dear friend who's a sound person from Australia. Her name is Jade. She came in to see us a bunch of our shows. It was a joy to have her, and a bunch of other Australians were down at the shows we did in Southeast Asia as well. So I can always tell they're the loud part of the audience.
That's the Aussie section. Well, hypothetically, have you got room in your schedule if I could find a promoter that wants to bring you out?
I'm sorry, one more time.
I said hypothetically, have you got room in your schedule if I could find a promoter to bring you out?
Yeah, hypothetically, yeah.
All right, I'll make it.
Contact a local agent, get in touch with our manager. It's easy to find. There's a listing of all these bands and who their managers are and who their agents are. Get in touch, and it's going to be a close call, but it could happen.
I'll make a phone call as soon as I get off this to you, mate. I've got someone perfect in mind.
Right on, right on. I'd love that.
Wait, so once this winds up, bro, like, so you've got so much on the go musically. Like, I can't imagine this big finishing being the end of Billy Sheehan, mate. Like, what else have you got planned for the future?
Tons of stuff. About a bunch of records here in my studio. During the pandemic, we just started, because I couldn't play live. I just started, and I didn't advertise it. People just wrote to me and said, "Hey, will you play my record?" Okay. I learned quickly, though, I have to hear it first before I say yes.
Yeah, true.
I said yes to a couple of them. Oh my God. So I'd give them some advice on what they should do to prepare it for a bass. But we did hundreds of songs. At one point, I thought we had 600 songs. I think we may have miscalculated, and maybe it's only like 300 or 400. Still, that's a huge amount of songs.
A lot.
And so I got a whole bunch of things to do there. A bunch of friends of mine want to put together live shows and go out and tour. Friends that I know in the biz that you'd probably know, but nothing is secured yet, so I can't necessarily mention it. But I'll be playing a lot. I live to play live, and I play live to live. So that's all I do, and that's my thing. So that's why the pandemic was tough, and I'm forever grateful to the clients who hired me to play on their records, because that kept me busy and kept my hands in shape. But playing live, there's nothing like it. It's the greatest thing in the world for me, and it's the thing I do most. And I know I'm well over about 5,000 gigs easily by now.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Way past it. So.
And is a new album with Richie Kotzen one of the things you've got planned?
No, Winery Dogs are off while Mike is doing his Dream Theater thing, and from what has been said, when he's done with that, we'll come back and do some more.
Yeah, very cool. That's just one of the many bands you're involved with that rocks, mate. So I know we'll be hearing way more of you in the future.
Yeah, I like playing in a lot of bands. It's a little bit different. I mentioned a band Niacin earlier. It's kind of almost a jazzy thing and a fusion proggy jazz blues thing. And so when you do something like that for a while, you come back to another band, you've got a new vocabulary, new things to play, new ways to approach things. So it's I like spreading it around like that. But I do like being in a band. A band is a great thing, and the dynamic that happens between people. Sometimes it gets out of control and it's not too pleasant, but creatively, I love it, because especially when things are good, we get an idea. What do you think? Okay, drums. What about okay, I'll try that. Okay, no. And the writing that happens within a group of people. 3 is ideal. 4 is good too. 5 starts to get a little crazy. 6, maybe not. But it's a great thing to be in a band. People ask me, you have any advice for young players? Yeah, I got 3 things. 1, get in a band, be in a band. I see other YouTubers. I'm an old man, of course. My ways may be long gone, but I still think it's a valid thing. The YouTubers, amazing. I see guys play the impossible, but they're not in a band. They don't have a record. They're not out playing and touring. Maybe that's over, and maybe the future is this. Who knows? I'd very well be wrong. But when you're in a band, you're together with guys and you're working it out, guys and girls, whoever it is, and coming up with song parts, and you're learning how to deal with people and then you're going to learn how to do business, because you're going to go out, be in a band that plays. And that's number 2, be in a band that plays songs, learn songs, get songs. I got Beatle bootlegs. I got the first Beatle demo that they gave to Decca Records in England. There's 20 songs on it. Guess how many of them were originals?
7. None.
Not.
Wow.
No original. Arguably the greatest. Hey, what happened?
I don't know. That's awesome, though, wasn't it?
Look at that. That is hilarious. I better be careful what I make next. Anyway, arguably the greatest writing band in history. And their first 20-song demo that got them signed didn't have a single original.
Fantastic.
So get in a band and play songs. If you don't have your own songs, you be a copy band, like every band, like AC/DC, like Van Halen, like the Beatles, like everybody was a copy band. And then get in a band that plays songs that you sing. Like I said earlier, singing is where it's at. So those 3 things, being in a band, playing songs, singing. So many musicians, I say, oh, I know this guitar player. He's like, unbelievable. Oh, really great. It sounds exciting. Yeah, he's got all this. It's so great. Yeah. Does he sing? No. Sorry.
Be so fine if you were mine. I think it's time I got up on you. I said, Santa, we're gonna win. You're floating